Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Story Mode. Welcome back to PlayFrame and Final Fantasy XIV. We got some interesting stuff to do today, but first of all, I think it is time for a change. That's right. Your boy here is a Dragoon now. I've decided warriors treated us pretty well over the course of A Realm Reborn and the following patches, but I think it is now time for Durmin to change to a new job for the foreseeable future. And we're going to do that for a couple of reasons here. For one, Dragoon feels like a very good job to go into Heavensward with. Dragoon's a very important class, story-wise, for Heavensward, so it felt right. The other reason I wanted to swap to a Dragoon is to do some job quests. Now, we've not really done any job quests thus far in this playthrough, so to explain what they are, basically, and I think I've talked about this a little bit, but it's been a while, every job in the game, all the ones you can play, all have their own quest chain that you can be doing and should be doing while you're moving through the story. They all have their own little story as well, sort of running parallel to the main story quest line. And that storyline for each job is sort of like, it helps to fill out some of the flavor of the world, but it also kind of tells you what your job is all about. It tells you sort of what its history and its responsibilities, it gives you some more job flavor. And the Dragoon in particular felt like the right class to show this feature off with, because the Dragoon quests running up to Heavensward actually introduce a few characters and concepts that are going to be in the Heavensward story. So yes, that's pretty much our plan for today. This is the third of the pre-Heavensward little story detours that I've alluded to over the last couple of weeks. We're going to do a handful of the Dragoon's job quests in the run-up to Heavensward. Might be able to get them all done today, actually. I don't remember exactly how long they are. We're going to try. But before we get to that, one last little bit of business that I think is very important. How do I look? Look at this very good fashion that Durmin's got for his first day as a Dragoon. Now, this particular getup, which I really adore, I love how this looks, was created by another fan of the series. They wish to remain anonymous, but I feel like it's worth pointing out. They've sort of taken it upon themselves to put together a full wardrobe, basically, for Durmin. They've been preparing looks for various points in the story, giving him outfits for all kinds of occasions. I've not shown any of them off yet, and this felt like a very good one to start with. It kind of feels like it's a little bit lighter weight, a lot less armored than the warrior has historically been. It's also not quite as fully pointy as Dragoons can often look, so it sort of feels like a Dragoon in training, and I really love it. I love how this sort of also reflects that feather that he's often got going on in the hair. It's an extremely good look, one of my favorites I've seen so far, so compliments to, I guess, Durmin's fairy godparent, who's been putting all this together. Very excited about it. Now, in order to do these job quests, I guess I get to introduce one other little feature that this game has. Because I've ended up using some level skips to be able to get Durmin up to higher level to accelerate the pace of recording this series, that would normally mean that you've skipped over having to do the job quests as you've leveled up. But they happen to have a very handy feature in the game that's going to enable us to redo them. They've got what they effectively call New Game Plus, which is really helpful. They didn't always have this. It's an addition that I can't remember when it got added. Comments help me. When did they add New Game Plus as a feature? Basically, you can choose to kind of go back into a New Game Plus mode to replay various quest chains throughout the game, including all of the main story stuff, a variety of other like raid stories, job quest stories, crafter quest story, like a handful. Not every quest line in the game. It doesn't include everything, but a lot of them. It's really helpful. And so we are going to start here. We're going to skip over the level 1 to 30 Lancer stuff before you become a Dragoon, because that's just kind of its own little self-contained story. But we're going to start right here at Dragoon Part 1. And we're just going to do all of these. And then maybe during Heavensward we'll do these too. They are actually kind of relevant to whatever. That's later us problem. Let's commence. I'm so happy this feature exists. I very nearly used this feature as our tool for doing this entire series just with my main character, but there's enough stuff not included in the New Game Plus mode, enough quest lines and enough various things that I figured, you know what, it's actually just going to be less of a pain to just do this regularly. So yeah, here we go. Does this actually start here? I thought this started here, talking to this guy, but I'm actually now worried that it's going to start back at, yep, it's going to start back at the Lancers Guild. I'll meet y'all there. Hang on. Here we are. Welcome. It's the Lancers Guild. It's all decked out for a sort of Easter event going on right now. It's very cute. There's eggs and stuff everywhere. Anyway, we're going to need to start in here. Because as you may recall, almost all of these, nope, all of these A Realm Reborn original jobs in the game start out as a kind of different job and then graduate to being the full official version of their job at around level 30. So up until level 30, you'd be doing quests in here in the Lancers Guild for this guy, the head of the Lancers Guild, and we're just skipping past all of that. By the way, if you are wanting to have a little bit of a quick crash course on what the Dragoon is and how the Dragoon works, I did make a handful of videos very, very quickly going over what the 10 jobs are in A Realm Reborn that you can start playing as. The Dragoon is one of them. It's just kind of a very, very quick 101 level crash course on what they're all about. Okay. Weird. I can't be a Dragoon to take this job. I have to start out as a Lancer, and then they'll allow me to graduate. New Game Plus is weird sometimes. Okay, I've removed the little soul crystal thing that you equip to become the beefed up proper version of your job. Now I am just a Lancer again. Demoted so quickly into my career. I have the dragon. Here we go. Ewain seeks your aid in assisting an old friend. Hello there. You are also short. And a Dragoon. And goodness, so many Lancers around. I dare say you might just be the right man for the job. The guild has urgent need of a capable Lancer for a mission beyond our nation's borders. Hear me out, if you will. I've received word from an Ishgardian friend to the effect that he requires our aid. I'd have you go and provide that aid. As you may already know, due to her ongoing conflict with the dragons, Ishgard has kept her gates closed to outsiders for some time. The occasional Dragoon on patrol duty is about all folks see these days. In spite of her self-imposed isolation, however, the Holy See has never failed to honor her obligations to her allies. It's only fitting that we answer the call and lend what assistance we can. To this end, we offered to dispatch a contingent of wood whalers with all haste, but we're politely informed that they would not be welcome, much to our initial confusion. It was later explained that we're dealing with a matter of some sensitivity, best handled by individuals who are capable and trustworthy, yet unbound by allegiance. And who fits that description save adventurers? Secrecy being paramount, I can provide no details as to the nature of the task. All you need to know will be revealed at the rendezvous point. Should you accept the mission, take yourself to the observatorium. A knight by the name of Sir Alberic will receive you upon arrival. There we go. Now we can go to the place. Okay. Perfect. Let's go. Here we are. But yeah, already they are starting to introduce some terms and concepts pretty early that we will be dealing a lot with out in Ishgard. Which I kind of appreciate. If you just happen to be playing a Lancer as your starting job around this time and you get to level 30, you start getting kind of a preview of a lot of the various things that Heavensward is going to be all about. And that's fun. Hello. Ah, you must be the adventurer of whom Ewain sent word. Greetings and well met. I'm Sir Alberic Bale, Knight of Ishgard. The Holy See is much obliged to you for your aid. Time being of the essence, I shall proceed straight to the heart of the matter. The Eye, an Ishgardian relic of immeasurable worth, has been stolen, and we've reason to believe the culprit has come this way, so it is that we ask your assistance in its recovery. The thief has been identified as a man named Estinian, a Dragoon sworn to the service of the Holy See. Aye, you heard true. The crime was perpetrated by one of our own, an individual in a position of trust and no little honor. You may be assured that a fate worse than death awaits him upon capture. My duties to the sea afford me little opportunity to travel far beyond the walls of Ishgard. I must confess to a grave ignorance of recent Gridanian affairs. I was told that a sentry by the name of Logsdon Rough might have knowledge of routes oft taken by Ishgardian fugitives. I'd prefer to keep my identity a secret, and thus would have you gather what information you can from the old man. We must act quickly, for you see, Estinian is... I've already said too much. What matters is that we find our thief and the Eye with all haste. When last sighted, Estinian was clad in black armor. Now go, and speak not a word of what I've told you to anyone. All right, then. Our first Dragoon job. Well, pre-Dragoon job, I guess. It's gonna be fun using different abilities and such. And also not having tank responsibilities whenever we have to do, like, dungeons and things. Hello. Routes favored by Ishgardian fugitives? Now, that's a question I don't hear every day. You aren't plotting some unsavory act yourself, are you? Even if you were, I doubt you'd make it far. Any road, we've caught a few fleeing to the North Shroud. What with Gridania being home to nearly as many Elezen as Ishgard, it's no easy task to identify outsiders. If you're on the hunt for someone, you could do worse than to visit Florentel's spire in the North Shroud and speak with a man named Idristan. If any suspicious persons have crossed the border in recent days, he'd be the first to know. All right. Very well. Let's see. Kurthis. Now, you may recall that Kurthis, this sort of area out surrounding Ishgard, which is up this way, sort of borders up along Gridania. It's sort of just north of Gridania. And so the North Shroud will be just down this way. So, all right. Let me start heading that way. Come on, Koi friend. And here we arrive. Hello there. Hail, adventurer. Yes, I'm the one tasked with monitoring those who would enter our lands by the way of Kurthis. An Ishgardian man clad in black armor? No, I recall nothing of the sort, and such a striking visitor would be difficult to forget. My apologies, friend. I can only suggest that you return to Logsdon. Let's say that, Logsdon, and see if he has any other theories. Oh, well, okay. Generally speaking, on average, for the most part, job quests aren't quite as exciting. They don't have the full, like, main story quest treatment in terms of, like, you won't hear voice acting in these things. They won't generally have nearly as much, like, flashy animation or anything else. They are of secondary importance to the main story quest, but they're generally of higher importance than just your average side quest you do out and about. So they still can have some spectacle. They still can have lots of cool things happening in them. Some of them have some really rad stories. Honestly, we may have to, like, occasionally do a quick string of a few of them, just because they are, like, known as being some of the best little short stories in the game. I'm thinking of some particular Dark Knight stories that are just extremely good. But yeah. No luck, you say. Most curious. Why is it nigh impossible that a fugitive could make it this far without being... Or why it's nigh impossible that a fugitive could make it this far without being espied from Florentel's spire? Which leaves the possibility that your man is still in Ishgard. It runs counter to good sense. Would the fugitive not want to put a distance of grounds between him and his pursuers? But by the process of deduction, it is a possibility. The climes of Ishgard are not kind to drifters and vagabonds. That said, there has been talk of curious smoke wafting from a cave east of here at night. Were I you, I might begin my search there. That's a good tip. All right. Let's go see about that. Quite friend, is it nice not having to carry so much armor around all the time? Is this a relief? Oop. Campfire. Hey. Go away. This will be nice. I'll be doing more damage as a Dragoon. I'll enjoy that quite a bit. So, what do we got? That Ishgard would resort to sending coin-starved adventurers after me. I know not whether to laugh or feel insulted. The eye. It rouses for another? Preposterous. Our paths shall cross again. You can be sure of it. And there he goes. We Dragoons do enjoy jumping. Hey, I found him, kind of. Then he jumped. A Dragoon clad in black, you say? Tell me all that transpired. By the Fury, that the Eye would choose another. I had not thought it possible. In light of recent events, it would seem an explanation's in order. The Eye is no ordinary relic. It harbors the power of the dragon, which it bestows upon a single chosen soul, the strongest and wisest Dragoon. He who is chosen is possessed of the power to fight our mortal foes, the dragons of Dravania, on equal footing, soaring the firmament, as it were, as if it were an extension of the land. That man is known as the Azure Dragoon. The Azure Dragoon is the light of hope for all Ishgardians, and the paragon of all Dragoons. For this reason, you may imagine how it pains me to have to confess that the man you encountered, the thief, is none other than the Azure Dragoon, and that I was once his teacher. Needless to say, I acknowledge myself accountable for Estinian's misdeeds, and mean to do all in my favor to find him and recover the eye. But I cannot do this alone. I require your help, Durmin, you who have received the power of the Dragoon. You may labor to believe it, but there can be no mistake. The soul of the Dragoon I bear glows in your presence, irrefutable proof that you're chosen. What I can ill explain, however, is the why of it. Never before in Ishgard its long history has the eye roused to more than one individual in a single generation, but it avails us not to cudgel our brains about it. The fact of the matter is that you are now a vessel for the power of the dragon. That dragon lies yet in slumber, however, and you must needs possess the means to wake it, the soul of the Dragoon. I would entrust you with mine, Durmin. Like Estinian, I once ruled the skies as the Azure Dragoon, although that power has since become lost to me. It was simply by force of habit that I have hitherto kept the soul upon my person. I have no inkling as to why the eye has seen fit to choose a second, and an outsider at that. Yet one thing's clear. None can challenge the Azure Dragoon and conceivably prevail, save another Azure Dragoon. You are our only hope of bringing Estinian to justice and reclaiming the eye. Of course, I do not ask that you do this unaided. I may be a Dragoon no more, but what knowledge I have, I shall gladly impart to you. For, indeed, when the time comes that you must face the Azure Dragoon, naught less than complete mastery over the power of the dragon will avail you. That a perilous road lies ahead of you, I shall not deny. Knowing this, if you would still lend me your lance, I'll teach you to harness the power that's chosen you. Go forth, my young Dragoon, and rouse the dragon within. I look forward to your return. And there we go. The next Dragoon quest would be available upon reaching level 35, which we are. We are there. You can't get, like, experience and rewards during New Game Plus. It's just for if you want to go through the story experience again. Still nice that it's there. Again. And doing that quest would unlock the ability Jump. Your first fancy Dragoon ability. By the way, when they are talking in quest lines, like he was just mentioning something about having the soul of the Dragoon on him and that he was passing it on to me, that is their term for these stones, which are not currently equipped. Hang on. There we go. So, this soul crystal. Basically, these soul crystals are the items you equip at around level 30 to upgrade your job from the baseline thing to the full complete thing that it was meant to be. So from Lancer to Dragoon once you have this equipped. They're just little stones that apparently have the power of their job kind of within them. They are strange as a concept and not really delved into super deeply as I recall, but you'll occasionally see characters like holding them or handing them over. They're just a thing you have to equip to do that role. So anyway, we're a Dragoon now. Go us. Let's do the next one. Sir Albric would have you undertake a trial. It's pleasing to see how readily the dragon stirs within you. You show great potential, Durmin. A potential that may well prove the difference between victory and defeat. Estinian is no ordinary Dragoon. Even when set against the legendary Azures of ages past, the man's considered second to none. Such is his prowess, in fact, that the day he was chosen by the Eye, it was proclaimed that Haldrath the Dragon's Eye had been reborn. I mean not to disparage your skills, Durmin, but to pursue Estinian in your current state would be tantamount to suicide. As promised, I shall train you in the way of the Dragoon, that you might face Estinian as an equal. Before we commence, however, it's only fitting that you're edified regarding our origins. It all began a millennium past, when our forebears resided in the southern plains in humble circumstances. The Fury, impressed by the spirit of our ancestors, decided it was meet that she make them her own. So did she appear before Haldrath's sire, a man of courage and integrity named Thordan, and bade him lead her people to the Promised Land, to what would become the great nation of Ishgard. Their journey brought them to a wide chasm, whereupon Thordan and his people set to building a bridge. It was then that a dark shadow descended upon them, the great worm Nidhogg. Heedless of his own safety, Thordan fearlessly charged at the colossal beast. Alas, he was pushed into the chasm by one of his own, a man seduced by the worm, and fell to his death. Taking up his slain sire's lance, Haldrath hurled himself at Nidhogg, even as tears streamed down his face. The confrontation ended when the young man, his hand guided by Halone, landed a mighty thrust that prized out Nidhogg's eye. With a terrible roar of pain, the great worm took wing and fled, while jubilation reigned below. Ishgard's priceless relic is none other than the eye taken from Nidhogg that day. It's a veritable wellspring of dragon power, even so removed from its owner. It can exert control over the hearts of men. Haldreth himself felt its malign influence, but his love of justice brooked no corruption, and he prevailed over the power, claiming it for his own. And so it was that the first Azure Dragoon was born. Being derived from our foe, the power of the dragon is a thing to be loathed. But as Haldreth proved to us all, so long as our hearts burn with justice, we need not fear being taken into its thrall. But what is justice, precisely? Justice assumes many shapes and forms, Durmin, and none can say that one is greater than another. So long as you hold fast to your beliefs and stay true to yourself, you leave no room for the power of the dragon to master you. But enough of history. Let's return our attention to the present. A knight by the name of Sir Brusamont will see to the next stage of your training. Seek him out at Witch Drop. Can do. Where's that? Where is that? Where's Witch Drop? Oh, up here, I guess. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just warp up here to Camp Dragonhead. And then we'll be practically there. Oh, and the sun's starting to come out. Hooray. Kurthus is like 15% less drab when the sun is out. And that's nice. So hey, fun little fact, and I think some people already said this in comments, but this region, Kurthus, was not always snowy. That was a result of the calamity. This used to be kind of grassy and, I think it was still fairly cold, but it was more of like fields and stuff. I think it was, you could actually come out here in 1.0, yeah? Like it was an actual grassy region that was not cold like this, but the calamity caused a lot of wild weather stuff up here, and now it's pretty much frozen over. Just one of many problems that Ishgard has been dealing with for a long time. I guess this problem's a little bit more recent, but Ishgard's dealing with a lot of problems. And that is what Heavensward's going to be about eventually. But for now, Brusamont. So the adventurer seeks to become a dragoon. Ha! Sir Alberic speaks of legends and chosen ones, but I'd see you prove yourself in a more practical fashion, with your lance. Defend yourself. What, from you, or... Oh, from a... What? Oh, from a trained death gaze over here. Oh, it's a little wyvern. Wyvern, whatever. That was fun. Did I do it? Can I talk? Here we go. You have some skill, I'll give you that. And the glow of your soul crystal. Perhaps Sir Alberic was not wrong about you after all. Now return to him, your training here is complete. Oh, that was easy. Being a dragoon is easy. Admittedly a little easier when you're level 70 plus like I currently am, but whatever. Technicalities. Hello, hello. The soul of the dragon grows ever stronger within you, Durmin. Clearly, your trial was a rousing success. I need only observe your crystal to know as much. Yes, though you've only just begun to walk the path of the dragoon, it's clear you possess the talent to become Estinian's equal. Go forth and make the powers you obtained your own. When the time's right, we shall proceed with your training. And there we go. So yeah, job quests tend to be reasonably short. For the most part, not always, and they do, I think, tend to get a little bit longer the further into the game you get. But they're a thing that you need to be doing as you level. Up through level 60 or so, I think, you will get a new job quest every 5 levels, and you should stop in your main quest progress to go do them because they are how you often get access to new abilities that you can't unlock any other way, and some of them are really core to being able to do the job well, so it's important you do it. And we're just kind of burning through 20 levels of them real quick. Sir Alberic would send you on your next trial. At this rate, I do not think we're going to have a problem getting through all these in one day. Good. You grow ever stronger, and I speak of more than just the flesh. Aye, you're slowly but surely realizing your potential as an Azure Dragoon. It's heartening to look upon, though I must confess that my presiding feeling is one of relief. You must understand, the mere thought that the Eye would choose an outsider, one who ill comprehends the threat posed by the dragons, filled me with the gravest of misgivings. Yet you have... I shall say no more, lest flattery impede your improvement. Now, during our last lesson, I enlightened you regarding the origins of the Dragoons. You'll recall how Haldreth heroically triumphed over the great worm Nidhogg, and Ishgard came into the possession of the Eye. Tell me, Durmin, do you believe that these events truly transpired? Or are you inclined to think of them fairy tales? I ask you this because few folk have seen dragons in the flesh besides we Ishgardians, and most would as soon dismiss them as products of the imagination. Alas, dragons are no less real than you and I, with Nidhogg perhaps the most real of all. In the course of its history, Ishgard has suffered the creature's wrath on 8 separate occasions. Each time the great worm rouses, the blood of countless Ishgardians is spilled. Let us revisit the past once more, Durmin. The time is 20 summers past, and the place, Dravania. Over a century in slumber, Nidhogg awakened once more to resume his reign of terror. Entire villages were razed to the ground, their inhabitants reduced to smoldering ash. Sensing the great worm's unbridled rage, others of his kind began to rouse, and in such numbers as to blot out the sun with their wings. A deep, foreboding darkness swept over Ishgard. Raging infernos painting the belly of the sky an angry red, the agonized screams of innocents fading into deathly silence. In my station as the Azure Dragoon, I was there through it all, bore witness to all the horrors. But there was no time to offer even a silent prayer. Nidhogg lingered in one place only long enough to lay it to waste, and when he took wing, so too did I pursue him, a man possessed. This game of cat and mouse continued for what seemed an eternity before I found myself face to face with the great worm. The battle unfolded in a tiny settlement on the edge of Kurthis, raging on for 3 days and 3 nights, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Remaining on my feet by sheer force of will, I realized that it must end now, else it shouldn't end well. Marshalling my last ounce of strength, I wagered all on a single thrust. My lance struck home, burying deep in the ruin of my opponent's empty eye socket. Yet before I could withdraw my weapon, the worm lashed out wildly in its agony, dealing a blow that left me sprawled upon the scorched earth, nigh insensate. In that instant, I thought myself surely doomed. But Halone was not finished with me. Having lost the taste for battle, Nidhogg let loose a blood-curdling roar before fleeing to the sky. The battle was over. While I did not perish from my injuries, they rendered my body unfit to bear the power of the dragon, and I was Azure Dragoon no more. Lying bedridden, my thoughts wandered to all the innocent lives that had been lost, the people I'd failed to protect. The last conflict with the dragons of Dravania left countless orphans in its wake. Estinian was one of them, the sole survivor of Ferndale, the final village to suffer Nidhogg's wrath. With none left to care for him, I did the only thing I could. I took Estinian as mine own son, instructing him in the way of the Dragoon when he was of an age to learn. Yet I would not have you think me noble. My actions were born not of compassion, but of guilt. My guilt at having failed him. But, alas, I have also failed him as a father. For what manner of man did I bring him up to be? A thief who would endanger the life of every one of his countrymen. Ah, you heard me right. All of Ishgard may suffer for his crime. Though we know little and less of the minds of dragons, it is conceivable that the disturbance surrounding his stolen eye will rouse Nidhogg to awaken once more. That his kin have already stirred from their slumber serves as fair warning of that. Time's not on our side. Fortunately, it would seem you are more than ready to embark on your next trial. Make your way to Witchdrop, where the knight, Justien, I think, awaits your arrival. My nation's depending on you, Durmin. All right, I am on my way. Lots more reading than I remember in this questline. Still down here in this little crevasse here? Yes, here we are. Hello, hello, good to see you. You're the one who would aspire to be Azure Dragoon? Well, you're not even of Ishgard. If you truly possess the power that Sir Alberic sees in you, then prove it to me with your lance. On guard. It's weird to say on guard when I'm fighting something else, even though I guess you're just telling me to be on my guard, but usually, you know what, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's, wonder if I can get all these with one big hit. Boom. Yep. Dragoon's going to be fun, I think. I like it. I did it. That strength. I've not seen its like since Estinian himself stood before me. Mayhap Sir Alberic has the right of it, after all. Return and show your crystal to him. I have no doubt he'll be pleased. You Dragoons are very easy to impress. But hey, it does mean we're getting through the story faster. No complaints there. You've passed yet another trial with flying colors, Durmin. The day when you may stand before Estinian as an equal is not far off. And when that day comes, the Eye will choose you over the traitor. I've no doubt of this. But we must be patient still. For now, you must continue your training. When you can do more on your own, seek me out once more. Or when you can do no more on your own. The opposite thing, you might say. Seek me out once more. Will do. All right, 2 more quests to do, I think. It's kind of nice doing these back to back. Not having them separated by various hours of play and leveling. Just helps to keep all the story elements in mind. Sir Alberic has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Impeccable timing, Durmin. A message arrived from Estinian but moments ago, much to my astonishment. He would trade words with us, and bids us meet him at Boulder Downs. As to his true intentions, I cannot say. It may well be a trap, but we must go nonetheless. I trust I can count upon your company. That you can. All right, to the rendezvous point. I am getting so excited for Heavensward now. Not only because it's kind of the point where Final Fantasy XIV truly arrives and reaches the level of quality that we can then expect. But also just because, like, I've not actually done it in a while now at this point. Just sort of excited to experience it again. Good choice of rendezvous point, by the way, Estinian. I like your flair for the dramatic. Greetings, Master. It has been too long. Estinian, end this folly at once. You must know that each second the eye passes outside Ishgard's walls brings us closer to a repeat of the tragedy of 20 summers past. Surrender yourself and the eye, and return with me to Ishgard before it's too late. Ah, but it is already too late, Master. For you see, Nidhogg has already awakened. What? Hear me, Master. You've mistaken the cause of the dragon's return. The eye is not to blame. A premonition came to me by virtue of the dragon within, warning me that the great worm would soon rouse. Even as he slumbered, Nidhogg seethed with irrepressible rancor for that wound of 20 years ago. That rancor will send him flying as a speeding arrow to Ishgard, whereupon death and devastation will ensue. But there is a possible solution. Were the eye taken to a remote land, far from the Holy See, then, and only then, could destruction be averted and the lives of innocent Ishgardians be spared. You mean to make bait of yourself? Nay, there's more to this than you let on. You seek vengeance for Ferndale. To me, the two are one and the same. You know my past better than any else. It was for no other reason than to avenge my family that I became a dragoon. Dragons long outlive men, and do not soon forget the wrongs done to them. What grudge they harbor burns as a fire in their hearts, over time swelling into an unquenchable inferno. You need only look back on history to see that Nidhogg grows stronger with each awakening. When last he darkened our skies, the great worm came within a hair's breadth of laying waste to Ishgard. Not short of death will prevent him from completing his mission when next he wakes. Nidhogg took everything from me, and now I shall take everything from him, even if it means my life. The eye works in ways men can ill comprehend, but this much is plain. In choosing 2 Azure Dragoons in one generation, it means for us to join together in common cause. Adventurer, you've heard my resolution. Now I ask that you lend me your power. Aye, the power of the dragon. In the long and proud history of Ishgard, never before have 2 Azure Dragoons arisen in the same era to fight as one. This is our best, nay, our only, chance to send the great worm to eternal slumber. Behold my armor. This is the Draken mail, forged in the lifeblood of dragons. As blood calls to blood, so too does the armor call to the dragon within, redoubling the wearer's strength thereby. If you would realize your potential as an Azure Dragoon, you must needs clad yourself in the same. Clad so, you will inherit the technique passed from Azure Dragoon to Azure Dragoon down through the generations. Then and only then will your training be complete. But first you must win the Draken mail as I and Sir Alberic did before you, by proving yourself worthy in the ultimate trial of the Azure, a series of battles so harrowing as to send the unworthy to an early demise. Master, Once the adventurer acquires the armor, pray see to it that he learns to harness the power of the dragon in full. Estinian, wait! Save your worries. I do not mean to make myself easy prey for dragons. I take my leave of you. And there he goes. All right. So the point of armor being important is worth mentioning. The job quests that you will do with any of these jobs from level 30 or so to 50 will usually either slowly or all at once unlock access or give you a fancy set of gear unique to your job. They are the sets of gear that I wore during those Job 101 videos. Sort of pieces of gear that are sort of like your first taste of what this job should uniquely look and feel like. You probably won't wear that gear for very long once you start getting into your first expansion, but still, it's some of the better gear you can have for each of those jobs. Not the very best, but it's some of the better gear, and the most visually distinct. Estinian. Forgive me, I was deep in thought. Now then, as to acquiring the armor of which Estinian spoke. At first it was my intention to bequeath mine own armor to you. I'm an Azure Dragoon no longer, and its powers are wasted on me. It would be simple enough to hand it over to you and complete your training right here and now. I have concerns about the fit. Just kind of looking at our two builds, but go on. But it is as Estinian said, the dragon armor is no ordinary set of mail. Its strength derives from the dragon blood whence it came, the blood's power resonating with the soul of the wearer. Though I can no longer draw upon mine own armor's power, its bond to me was forged years ago. Were I to bestow it on you now, I fear it would offer but a scintilla? Don't know that word. Scintilla of the protection it afforded me in those Brygone days. Aye, Estinian has the right of it. You must claim your armor as he and I did before you. You must complete the trials of the Azure, that the powers of the Dragoon blood be yours and our dragon blood be yours and yours alone. The ogre's belly will be where your final test begins. I shall dispatch Sir Brucemont there. Seek him out upon your arrival. I will. A few more steps to this one. All right, into this little cave we go, ignoring all the relatively low-level baddies. And, did I go too far? Oh, there you are. Brucemont, hello. You've grown strong since last we met, adventurer, but you pale in comparison with your Azure forebears. If you would prove me wrong, let your lance do the talking. I think I will. For my opening argument... Oh, hey, you live. Good for you. There we are. Anything else? Is that it? Once again, adventurer, you prove yourself worthy beyond my expectations. Take this, but know that your trial's only just begun. Ah, your next challenge lies in the chamber beyond. Sir Justien awaits you there. Very good. A multi-step trial, that seems fitting. Here we are. Hello. Ah, the fate music. You, a foreigner, would don the Draken armor, then prove to us that you will not do it dishonor. Maybe I will. Hey, you, come here. We're fighting. I enjoy that the Final Fantasy XI monsters have all gotten, like, a chance to come back in a better-looking and much better playing game. Like, that giant design is from Final Fantasy XI. And we'll start seeing a lot more Final Fantasy XI designs with each expansion, just kind of in the bestiary. Which is great. They had a lot of great monster designs. And they deserve another chance. Sir Albrecht said the Eye had chosen you, and it would appear he speaks true. The armor's yours. Wear it with pride and armor. Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to do. Your trial's nigh complete, but be forewarned. Many before you have made it this far, only to fall at the final challenge. Do not let overconfidence be your downfall. I'll try. They're giving me the armor piece by piece. That's nice. Once this quest is done, I'll have to maybe do a temporary costume change. Feels appropriate. So you made it this far. Very well. Prove yourself worthy of the Azure, or die in the effort. I will. That's a cool looking one. Here, let's try out our new jump. Jump! It works. What a hoppy little Lalafell I'm going to be. You've demonstrated your powers to me beyond a doubt. Aye, there's not an Ishgardian who would gainsay your right to don the armor of dragons. Gainsay, even. What a bad reading day I'm having. I shall send word ahead to Sir Alberic that you've passed your trials here. It is he who will present you with the 4th piece of armor and consummate your training. Go now, my fellow Dragoon, and deliver this land from the Great Worm's wrath. I'll do my best. Alberic, I'm back. I did the thing. I hear from Sir Brucemont that you've performed most impressively. Yes, I stand more convinced than ever that you will be the one to save our land. Yet be warned, Durmin. One last trial awaits you. You'll face this trial in the presence not of knights, but of ghosts. Make your way toward the Steel Vigil and seek out a gravestone north and west of the structure. Take with you this flute, and when you reach your destination, blow a single, strong note. A visitor shall soon arrive. Entertain your guest, and should he leave behind a present, return it here to me. I will. Hang on, let me see if I can go ahead and equip what pieces of gear they've already granted me. There we go. Not too bad. New arm piece, leg piece, and feats, and you can already see some more pointiness coming into play. That's just how Dragoons do it. All right, let's head to that place, he said. Yes, we're heading up toward the Steel Vigil, which has seen better days, as you can already tell. An old Ishgardian fortification, which I think the dragons have pretty much claimed at this point. Yep. We kind of had a brief stint out here, helping a young noble out back in a realm reborn, but we didn't stay for very long. Hey, and there's Ishgard out there. I'm so excited. Such a good city. Well, a cool city. It's got problems. But I'm from Ul'dah, who am I to judge? Well, hello there. Got us a proper little dragon fight. Jump! And get out of that. Yeah! I'm enjoying my Dragoon moves. And we've gotten the last piece, I think. Let's take it back. To be fair, a lot of these fights would actually be a little bit more involved. Not hard, necessarily, but they wouldn't go quite as fast if I was the appropriate level for these, but now you know how it works. Story mode. Your presence before me indicates you've seen to the visitor. Have you aught to show for your deeds? That I have. Both the flute you gave me, the shrill tone emitted by this bone-carved whistle, is believed to summon minions of the Dravanian Horde. And that it did. Also a Horde skull, proof you, or someone else, slew Greywine. Ah, the Skull of Greywine, old warrior of the Dravanian Horde. It's said that in ages past he could bring down a castle with a single breath. His strength has dwindled since those days, but a dragon past his prime is a formidable foe, nonetheless. In slaying him, you've proven yourself worthy of this. And now possess 4 pieces of the armor that Estinian, myself, and our forebears did wear. While you doubtless wonder about the 5th, I can tell you only that it is not mine to give. Fear not, however, your triumph in the trials. Why can't I read today? Your triumphs in the trials and against a dragon of the Horde give evidence that Draken blood now resonates with yours. Yes, you stand before me as prepared for your ultimate challenge as any could be. And yet, before we proceed, I would hear it from your own lips. The Great Worm's power is the stuff of legends. Have you truly resolved to fight this battle? To risk your own life to deliver a foreign land from the clutches of its ancient foe? When you're certain that your mind is settled, return and speak to me. I will. And it'll take less time than you think. But hang on, I'll put on my new piece of gear. Oh, the hat. I don't get the chest piece, but I do get a hat. Not too shabby. A little hard to see. That's fine. The final quest we're doing, I think. Sir Alberic would ask you to reaffirm your commitment to do battle with the Great Worm. So you join your strength to Estinians, that Ishgard might be free from the rage of the Great Worm forevermore? Then I shall honor my promise. You shall have full use of your powers by the time we're done. Before we begin, there's something I must needs confess. You'll recall the tale of my battle with Nidhogg 20 years past, and how the power of the dragon left me on account of the or how the power of the dragon left me on the account of the injuries I sustained. But what I said was an untruth. The power did not abandon me, Durmin. It was I who abandoned it. Being derived from our mortal enemies, the power of the Azure Dragoon is a double-edged sword. Even as it lends us the strength we need to smite dragons, it heightens our communion with the creatures, rendering our minds more susceptible to their seduction than ordinary men. Even as I buried my lance in Nidhogg's flesh, our gazes locked, and mine eyes met then with a look that would fair impale a man. In that instant, I found myself assailed by a torrent of emotions not my own. Sorrow, rancor, pity. They threatened to drown the man in me and leave behind a dragon. Fearing that I might turn traitor, I chose to purge myself of the power that the eye had bestowed upon me. Thus, regaining lucidity, I was able to rout the grievously wounded Nidhogg. Alas, countless of his brethren yet remained. As if to mock me, they fell upon Ferngale with a vengeance. Bereft of my power, it was all I could do to save but one child. Nary a soul knows of this. Nay, not even Estinian. But I can keep him in the dark no longer. At our last meeting, Estinian said that protecting Ishgard and exacting revenge upon Nidhogg are as one to him. That frame of mind, I fear, may well lead to his demise. The desire to protect and the desire to avenge are opposing forces that can ill be reconciled. Worse, the latter serves only to cloud his sense of self. When next Estinian and I meet, I intend to confess all, though it mean the loss of his good opinion. The outcome of the upcoming battle, and his very life, may well depend upon his readiness to relinquish his powers. Never allow yourself to forget the origin of your strength. Ever does the dragon lurk behind your eyes, biding its time, ready to claim you for its own. Aught less than complete conviction, and you'll find yourself in its vice-like clutches. So forewarned, let us return to our present endeavor. My promise to Estinian was that I would impart unto you the technique that will mark you as the true Azure Dragoon. If you'd know the truth, however, this knowledge is not within my power to bestow. No, you must claim the technique much as you claimed the fourth piece of the armor you wear, by proving yourself in battle with the dragons whose power you would unite with your own. I entrust you with this flute once more. Take it to the southwest of Providence Point and blow a single note. And by locking wills with your adversary and prevailing, you'll prove yourself worthy to champion the cause to which your lance is sworn. The dragon within you shall then awaken. Perfect. All right, we have our heading. Let's go. And here we arrive. Okay, let's toot the little whistle here. And hello, hello, hello. You're big. Jump. Wrong button, but I did still do a jump. And you're done. There we are. Job is complete. The dragon within stirs, resonating the soul of the Dragoon. Let's report our accomplishments. It's getting snowy out here. Hello, I did it. It's good to see you safely returned. I take from your bearing that the engagement went favorably? That it did. Here's your flute. You left this place as a man, Durmin, but you return as a dragon. There's no more for me to teach you. From here, your battle is yours and yours alone. Now, you might recall me saying that the fifth and final piece of the dragon armor was not mine to give. However, that's not wholly true. I could guide you in the direction of that which you seek. That said, I yet have reservations. The sheer power of the dragon housed within is such that a great many of your Azure forebearers, myself among them, have proven hopelessly incapable of wielding it. But I do not doubt what I see. Within you has awakened a strength that forever eluded the likes of me. If you're not worthy of wearing the armor, then I know none who are. Remember my warning to you, Durmin, and heed it well. Nidhogg is a lord among his kind. Aught less than complete conviction, and you will surely fall under his thrall. Before you can master your foe, you must needs master yourself. Hone your lance arm till it can bear no further honing, and then present yourself to me. When the time's come, I'll tell you what you need to know. I look forward to our next meeting, my young Dragoon. All right. That wasn't the last one. There's one more. My bad. I forgot how they count these things. But our inner dragon grows stronger, and we learned a new move. Now, this should be probably the final one. Into the dragon's maw. Sir Alberic wears a solemn expression on his face. Ah, Durmin, an urgent message arrived from Estinian in your absence. He bids you come at once to the Steel Vigil. It would seem Nidhogg's on the move, and rather sooner than we'd anticipated. It appears that you've not yet fully become a master of the dragon within you, and yet we are racing against time. I fear we've no choice but to do battle to the best of your current abilities, and without the Draken mail I promised. Now let us away. Estinian must know the truth of Ferndale, lest he fall for the Great Worm's seduction. All right. Let's do it. Where are we headed, by the way? Where is he? Oh, up there at Steel Vigil, of course. You said that much. Okay. And here we are. Oh, are we actually going inside? Cool. Oh, it's a duty. Neat. We'll be level scaled and everything. A proper duel. This pointy armor with my little Lalafell waddle. Love it. Alberic, I've waited long for this day. You, who fancy yourself an Azure Dragoon, the man whose cause you have taken for your own, is a coward. He relinquished the power of the dragon of his own volition and watched as Ferndale burned. Do you not think it ironic that I was chosen Azure Dragoon? I, an orphan who has naught of value to protect in Ishgard. I suppose I must give thanks, for it was the eye that revealed to me the truth, a truth so damning as to undo a lifetime of trust. I loved you as a father, but I can ill forgive you for Ferndale. As I understand it, you've kept even the Archbishop in the dark regarding the missing eye. Do you mean to take your shame to your grave? But I waste my breath. Prepare yourself, old man, for I shall lay waste to all the things you hold dear, and once I'm finished with you, I shall do what no Azure Dragoon has succeeded in doing. I shall claim Nidhogg's head. Calm yourself, Estinian. Your rage renders you vulnerable to the dragon's influence. Don't worry, I'll handle this. Durmin. In you, I thought I'd found kindred, someone beside whom I could fight the Great Worm. It's with a heavy heart that I relinquished that dream. Your affection for this coward has rendered you deaf to your own destiny. Very well. That we would one day cross lances was inevitable from the moment of our first meeting, as we shall now find out who is the Eye's true chosen. There can be only one. Alright, let's see how this goes. See what sort of command I have of my moves and such. Get hit. A bunch of times. Estinian, stop this madness. You and Durmin were meant to be allies, not the whatever you said. Not enemies. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to type right now. I'm trying to fight, game. Come on. Help me out here. There we go. Get him. Nope, don't get hit by stuff. Get him. Use jumps. Use more jumps. You've awakened the dragon, Durmin. Now my flame shall consume you whole. I'm not doing a great Estinian voice, but... you'll hear him eventually. Oh, Dragon's Eye. Hello. What's your deal? The dragon's curse corrupts Estinian's very body and soul. That's not great. Power. I must have more power. The Lord of Dragons, grant me strength to raise thine enemies. Estinian, surrender not to the beast within. Have you forgotten the vows you swore? I should probably hit that. Stop it. Almost got him. Gonna have to get used to my hotkeys and stop hitting the wrong buttons. Ah, well, we got him. And you're done. Durmin win. Feeble creature, dost thou desire power? Look to thine anger and to thy hatred. It is there that thou shalt find it. O mighty Nidhogg, Lord of Dragons. Grant unto me thy blood, that I might be granted the claws and fangs wherewith to rend thine enemies. Oh boy. Durmin, this is impossible. It cannot be. Yeah, I kind of agree. This is not my height. Huh. That was weird. Forgive me, Estinian. I've failed you once again. I'm fine, Durmin. Somewhat shaken, but otherwise whole of body. Suffice it to say, I have much to reflect upon. Let us return to the observatorium. Okay. And we're back. Boy, Estinian's really wearing my voice out early this session. When the being of darkness closed upon us, you appeared to me the spitting image of Haldreth the Dragon's Eye, just as he's depicted in the Holy Scriptures. I thought that mayhap the years had taken their toll on my mind, but behold, the soul of the Dragoon shines as it never did in all the years I bore it. It would seem you've achieved that which was thought impossible. You've awakened the ability that none but the first Azure Dragoon possessed. Truly a momentous achievement. I can still scarce believe that you were able to summon the self-same Draken mail worn by Haldreth. To think that it had been sealed within the Soul Crystal all this time. I've borne witness to many and more wonders over the years, yet none compares to you, my young Dragoon. Could it be that you are... Mark not my mutterings. I'm certain that it was your indomitable sense of justice that resonated with the spirit of the first Azure Dragoon, prompting him to bestow the armor upon you. Yes, that's doubtless what happened. As the being of darkness faded, so too did Nidhogg's aura subside, and now his kind have ceased their stirring. Whether this was compelled by your awakening, I cannot say. I suspect we'll learn the truth of it eventually. Estinian, my dear boy, whatever becomes of him, he will ever be as a son to me. I pray that he's somewhere out there still, and that he has not wholly forgotten the great man he once was. When that darkness brushed against me, the selfsame torrent of emotions swept over me as those I experienced 20 summers past. But there was something else besides. There was a voice, and it lamented the rift that divides dragon and men. You will come to comprehend what I speak in due time. Until then, Durmin, I pray you'll ever use your newfound strength in the name of justice. And with that, I believe we have completed this little run of job quests. Yes. This would have been all you could do as a Dragoon during a Realm Reborn. To do further job quests, you would have to be able to get into Heavensward, and then you'd have another several of them over the course of it, which we may end up doing. But yes, we've completed that little New Game Plus stretch. Haven't really done that before. Neat to see how it works. But that concludes all of the little detours that I was wanting to do in the run-up to Heavensward. So now we are just going to book it. We're going to just be gunning it through main story quests, and it's a good time to do it because from here on, the main story quests are... What am I doing? I don't know what buttons I'm hitting right now. From here on, the main story quests are basically going to be starting the main setup for the Heavensward story, and it's going to be some real good times. I promise you. Anyway, take care, all of you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you Wednesday for some more main story quest. Until then, do take care, and goodbye.